Okay, and we are live today. We are live. Okay, we're 2 minutes early, and that's okay, so that we can get some time to share the link to everyone. Please confirm you can hear me, you can see me. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Please let me know. Can anyone hear me? Can you see me? Please let me know. Still got 1 more minute though. Can anyone hear me? I see someone is on the stream, but I can't. Okay, awesome. Please confirm that you can hear me very well. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm just sending out the links. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Okay, it's just 1 minute past our time. And I think we've done justice sharing the link so that people can know that we're live. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us from. My name is Vera Patrick Azodo, and I'm the founder of the Reader's Corner. And here in the Reader's Corner, we have one mission, and that is to promote the reading culture in homes to raise lifelong readers. Every Sunday, every last Sunday of the month by 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, we show up here on our YouTube channel to talk about conversations, burning topics around reading, reading habits, sustaining reading habits, helping your children read better, growing and becoming better through consistent reading. And today is one of those beautiful days, and I can't wait to dive in. Have you ever wondered why it's so easy for some people to read a good number of books in a year? And then while for others, it's very hard to finish even 2 or 3 books in a year. Are you part of those people who find it very hard to finish up to 5 books in a year? Then this topic is for you, because now we know it is not a motivation issue. It is not really a discipline issue alone. It is about the skill set. The people who read every day, who have made reading their lifestyle, there is something they are doing differently. And that is what we're going to talk about today. the skills of unstoppable readers. I put 7 because I'm checking the time. There are a lot more of them, and I hope I'll be able to cover the 7. But I've tried to put all of that together in perspective for today. So not to waste much time, we said the skills. Skills is what makes the difference. I read a book one time and it says that skills are the roots and the consistent reading is the fruits. So basically, we don't see what is happening underneath. There is something that these people are doing. There is something that we are doing because I'm officially one of them who read over 50 books in a year, right? And guess what? My little girl of 9 years old has also joined the club. She said to me earlier this year, she said, Mommy, my goal this year is to finish 50 books. And this is half into the year. I think she's read over 35 books already. And when I mean read, I mean reading and journaling, putting in her journal log, making her summaries, discussing her learnings, right? So there is something that we're doing differently, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's stream. All right. So what are skills? Skills are the abilities we learn and practice that help us do things better. There are two words that I underlined while I was making this note, and it's we learn and we practice. So readers are not born. Readers are made through constant practice. If you ever seen someone who loves to read, who prioritizes reading over everything, regardless of the business, they were not born like that. They have grown up in an environment where somebody was fanning the flame, talking to them, modeling to them, showing them that reading should be a lifestyle. So that is why I said skills are learned and practiced. So you learn it first and then you practice repeatedly, then it becomes you. The right skills help us feel more confident, learn faster, and handle challenges. That is why we brought up this topic. A lot of people during the week when I interact with parents, all I hear is, Vera, how do you do this thing? Many times I'm doing one-on-one consultations and I'm like explaining that there is a secret to it. And mind you, so many years ago, I wasn't like this. I used to be in that WhatsApp group thinking, I mean, why do people even prioritize reading? In fact, to shock you, it is my mentor, Coach Wendy. She would always say, if you can eat every day, then you must read every day. The first time she said that, I battled in my spirit. I was like, what's this woman saying now? Come on, is it not just reading? Why does she like equate it to food? Come on now. We all love food, don't we? But many years down the line, I have lived that principle and I've even transformed mine into if you can eat every day, then you must read before you eat, because that is what I do. I don't start a day without reading. Food is not, I mean, food is not, it comes at the bottom of the food chain, but reading takes precedence. So let's move. Reading well is the result of a blend of skills that grow with practice. We already said that. I started by saying that skills are the roots. Reading habits is the fruit. When you grow the roots, then the reading will flourish. So we're attacking this problem from the root cause today, not no longer the results that you see online. You hear about the billionaires who read 55 books. In fact, I read about one lady, I forgot her name right now. She reads nothing less than 100 books in a year. I also know Matthew Ashimolowo. He does over maybe like 50 to 100 in a year. And I'm wondering, how do they get this thing done? So thank you for joining us. That's what we're going to be unraveling today. 7 skills of unstoppable readers. Before we move to the skills, who is an unstoppable reader? For me, an unstoppable reader is the one who reads daily, joyfully, and with purpose. So unstoppable means in season and out of season. When you feel like it, when you don't feel like it. When it is convenient, when it is not convenient. I'm not saying that there are no really bad days and exceptional days, right? But on the average, you show up daily. So for you to become an unstoppable reader, you have to read daily, read joyfully. Very important. Very important. That joyful part is important because many times you see people who read and it's more like checking off boxes, right? They don't enjoy the process. And then an unstoppable reader reads with purpose. The first skill on my list is emotional intelligence. Mhm. Emotional intelligence, we all know. Now, ask me how is it related to reading unstoppable. I'm going to shock you today. Sorry, my view is a bit slanted. We all know what emotional intelligence is: the ability to recognize, understand, manage our emotions and that of others around us. That's not the topic of discussion. The topic of discussion is how to link emotional intelligence to reading. Reading isn't just about the mind, it's about the heart. That's where the emotions come in. When we read with EI in mind, we become better readers and better humans. Now, for if you have been reading a lot or you've been taking courses, you already know that emotional intelligence has 5 key components. And the surprising thing is that each of the 5 key components are linked to reading. So let's go ahead. The first component or subcomponent of EI is self-awareness, which is recognizing your emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior. The important part of self-awareness that I love so much is the fact of reflecting on your strength, your weaknesses, your challenges, and your values. Now, for you to be an unstoppable reader, you need to be able to identify who you are, identify what your challenges are, identify what your key strengths are, what your values are. You need to know yourself first before you can help yourself. So you see that if you're not emotionally intelligent, then becoming a reader, it's a problem because you don't even know what the problem is. Like, okay, so why can't I read? Is it because I have a busy schedule? I claim to have a busy schedule, or is it because I have not understood the reason why I should actually read all the time? Whatever is the reason, the first step to solving a problem is to identify the problem. To help you identify the problem, you have to be emotionally intelligent, right? So that is the connection between self-awareness and becoming an unstoppable reader. You need to make that connection. What exactly is my problem here? The second part of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, which means managing your emotions in healthy ways. And guess what? Let's link it to reading again. When we read books and stories, novels, stories, fiction novels, non-fiction, depending on the type of book you're reading, you tend to get into the emotions in the in the story, in the book, right? And if you're not emotionally intelligent, you can be affected. Your emotions can be badly affected. So my daughter, I used to yab her that her tear glands are very full of tears because every little thing she's not that she's crying, but the tears are rolling down, right? So she's the type that even when she's watching a movie, even before they've hit the person, she's already crying. So she needs emotional intelligence to be able to contain herself, read through the stories, pick the lessons, and move ahead. Another thing, another connection with EI and reading is that your self-regulation is required to manage the emotions for meaningful reading experience. So you need to be able to manage. So it's not like watching a movie, an action movie, and they are shooting and all of that, and you're terrified. That can actually just scare you off from watching those movies. Same thing applies to reading. When you're reading and the story is not ending, is not going as you wished, and it seems as if things are going to go bad, you know, if you're not strong enough, then you tend to be put off or maybe start avoiding some certain kind of stories which are supposed to give you lessons. I'll give you an example. So many years ago, when I read the book, The 5 a.m. Club, if you have read the book, please say hi in the comment section. The 5 a.m. Club, that book is loaded. I strongly recommend it. I literally talk about that book almost every live show. I don't know why, maybe because it's one of my favorite reads for the year. So, so if you remember, this is about it's a story about three men, right? The spellbinder and then two of the guests that he hosted. This guy was the one who taught them life, the values of life, the 5 a.m. club, the principles of early morning journeys, and all of that. And towards the end of the book, the guy eventually died because he had been ill. Oh my God, when I got to that part, I'm like, no. And then I remember that, Vera, you need to put yourself together. This is just a story. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the moment that this story has presented to you. And that was how I was able to, not stop the book halfway, right? Another component of EI is empathy. You don't know the magic that reading does to you, to us, when to become empathic. And I said, understanding how others feel and seeing from their perspective is needed to flow through the writer's line of thoughts, ideas, and perspectives. So some people, they say your heart is hard, your heart is hard, like you're hardened. We don't need hardened here. For us to get into the plots, the writer's perspective, we don't need hardness. We want to be, open-minded, receptive to what the writer is trying to communicate, and all of that. And then the fourth component of EI is social skills. This part is very important, because one thing that books does is to connect people of like minds. When readers meet each other, they know each other. Even me, when I walk into a room and I get into conversations with people, I know people who read. It just shows. I was talking to one of my sisters in church, my friend here in Canada, and I told her that one of the pastors in the church came to my bookstore and she bought lots of books. She came with her husband and they bought a lot of books. And she was like, that she knows that the lady is a reader. And I said, how did you know? She said, when a reader talks, you will know. And believe me, when someone talks on stage, you know that she's a reader. So there's always that disparity. Like there's only that distinct thing about readers everywhere you find them. So social skills, you need that social skill to be able to interact, discuss ideas, discuss your learnings, and of course to pass on the knowledge. I wrote something profound in my book, in my note, and I said the true purpose of learning is not just for personal growth, but the ability to uplift others. Wisdom is not complete until it is shared. So no matter what you're reading, spending hours learning, and you're hoarding it to yourself, then you haven't started living. You have to share knowledge. That is why I'm always here every last Sunday, sharing what I learn as I read through the week, right? Because I know that as I teach it, as I discuss it, I become it. And I'm also transformed in the process. I was watching a church program yesterday, and the pastor said something so profound. He said, the very essence of life is not to make money, is not even success per se. The essence of life is to make people. Yes, because people are the only things that will follow you to the grave. Money will not follow you. The successes, the buildings, the businesses, the houses, family, they will not. But to see people, their mouths, your name remains on their lips throughout the ages. So that's why when you see funeral, people are always talking, they're talking about nice things about this person and all of that. That is the legacy the person has left behind. So very important social skills. You need social skills to become an unstoppable reader, because when you're able to read, transfer the knowledge, pick knowledge from others also, and then it makes you a complete, effective reader. And then the last part of the EI that is linked to reading is self motivation. We already know the word self motivation, which means staying positive and driven, even when things get tough, right? When we're self motivated, reading becomes a daily habit, not a forced task. Self motivation is the inner drive to do something because you want to do it, not because someone else has told you to do it. Right. So no matter how long I spend on this YouTube live talking to you, encouraging you every month and all of that, if you have not determined in your hearts to become a reader, to start reading every day, it's never going to happen. So the ultimate decision depends on you. And what are the things about self-motivation that links it to consistent reading? It drives consistency. It promotes goal setting. It inspires curiosity. It helps you build reading stamina, and it connects reading to joy. Reading is a journey. Self motivation is the fuel that you need on that journey, right? Now, that takes care of EI as the first skill to become an unstoppable reader. I see a lot more people joining us. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your presence. Just a brief recap. We started talking about the skills of unstoppable readers, and we started by talking about the first and one of the most important skills, which is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is at the heart of every success in reading. All right. So without wasting so much time, I'm going to really run through this thing because I want to end this stream at 1 hour exactly. In as much as I like to talk, I like to see you guys listen to me. I like to, share my knowledge. I also want to be disciplined with my time. That takes me to the second skill of unstoppable readers, and that is self-discipline. Mhm. Self-discipline. Meanwhile, self-discipline is different from self-motivation. They're not the same thing. And I'm going to break it down. Let's unpack that. Self-discipline is the ability to stay committed to a thing, in this case, reading, even when it is not easy, exciting, or convenient. Now, I did a lot of research on self-discipline and I stumbled across over 10 different definitions by different writers and philosophers. The first one that I would like to explain is the one by Aristotle, which says self discipline is the ability to govern oneself, doing what is right and virtuous, rather than being driven by desires or passions. So when it comes to self discipline, it's not a question of I like it or I don't like it. I tell my children all the time, they say, Mommy, I don't want to. I say, it's not about what you want to, it's about what you need to, right? So once you need to do it, then you're going to do it. And another definition that I like so much too is the one by C.S. Lewis. And he says, doing what you know to be right, regardless of your feelings. So the thing that is repeated with all of these definitions is the feelings part. Your feelings is inconsequential. It does not determine what you do. I told my children and I say that feelings are temporary and feelings are deceptive. The way you feel is just a function of your mind. The moment you decide that you're going to get something done, something in you will make you do it. Now, to my favorite definition of self-discipline, and that's the one by Brian Tracy. She says, self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. In fact, to tell you how much I love this quote, I made a print of it from Canva and I pasted it in front of me in my room. And that thing is magical for me because it changes the game for me. So I tell you a story. While preparing, trying to get it ready for this course, I like to make my notes so that I stay organized. I know many of the things from my head, but I just like to put them in a structured manner. I was supposed to wake up at a particular time. Although I had slept late, I had to do some chores, cooking, and all of that. So I didn't get enough sleep. Once my alarm woke me up so that I can get to my working table to start work on this topic, I had a million and one reasons not to show up. And in fact, I'm even not feeling so well. Like, oh my God, I'm like, no, I have a headache. But as soon as I picked up my phone to turn off the alarm, I looked, the first thing I saw in front of me was my affirmation. Self-discipline is the ability to do what you need to do, whether you feel. The moment I read it, I just removed duvet and I came down from the bed. I told myself, Vera, your feeling is invalid here, isn't consequential. Just get it done. And did I do it? Yes. Did I die after doing it? No. I'm still the one talking on the score. Right? So self-discipline is very key in our journey to success. Thank you, Uyiton. I appreciate this. Now, we've covered two skills of successful readers: emotional intelligence and self-motivation and self-discipline. Sorry, Mr. Uyito, thank you. Thank you for joining me, my brother. I appreciate you, sir. Now, I wanted to briefly touch on the difference between self-discipline and self-motivation. They are different, but they work together. Self-motivation sparks the action, like it triggers the action, but self-discipline sustains the action. And you agree with me that success is guaranteed when you sustain a process, not when you start. So you want to go to the gym, 2025 fit farm, or I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm going to be this and that. That is self-motivation. You are fired up beginning of the year. Come June 2025, how are you doing? How markets? Like my Igbo people will say, how markets? So the moment when self-motivation begins to drop, that is when your self-discipline starts to rise. The second difference is, I already said that self-motivation gets you started, self-discipline gets you to the finish line. Self motivation comes from passion, interest, what you like to do, what's, it's about, it's what I want to do. But self discipline comes from habits that you want to build that is non negotiable. There's another definition of self discipline that I missed that I really wanted to talk about. Okay, I didn't. I don't think I have it here, but it talks says something. Yeah, look at it. The ability to make and keep our promise to ourselves. So self-discipline is about you. Like you said you're going to do this thing. That's a promise you gave to yourself. Then you really have to get it done. You just have to get it done. And that's the best you can do for yourself. Keep a promise you made to yourself. Now, moving on to the third skill of unstoppable readers. Third one, time management. Time management. And I like to start by saying that time is the currency of destiny. Time is an equalizer. Time management is life management. Oh, yes, it is. Time management is life management. Last year, last week or 2 weeks back, or in the last live stream, we talked about the real reasons why we don't get to read beyond business. It's not about time. We already established that part, right? In reading, let's bring it closer home. In reading now, time management is the ability to organize and prioritize time so that reading becomes a regular part of the day, not an afterthought. And when I was doing some research on time management, I said time management turns the I don't have time to read. It turns it to reading is now part of my day, just like brushing my teeth. Yes, I say that again, that in the context of reading, time management turns the I don't have time to read, it turns it into reading is now part of my day, just like brushing. For those who are just joining, I started by telling the story how I used to fight with the saying that if you eat every day, you must read every day. I've got into this in the stage where I'm no more fighting that comment. I am now reversing it to say if you must eat every day, then you must read first every day. And it is possible. And there are many of us that are doing it, and our lives are not the same. Yes, I remember one time, and I always tell my friends, I say, for every problem you have in life, there's a solution written in a book. You just haven't read that book. You just have not read the book. That is why. So all the hustling, struggling. Do you know that they also say even so? Let's unpack this. People say they don't have time, can't create time, and all of that. What is taking your time? 95% of what takes our time is finance. We're looking for money. To be honest, we are trying to make ends meet. We're hustling for more money, pay the bills and all of that. But what if I told you that that money you're hustling for is inside the book you have not read? Come on, guys. The money you're hustling for, waking up at all times, it is inside the book you have not read. I can tell you that for free. I can tell you that for free. It is inside. So the people who are financially independent, financially stable, go and check them. They are readers. If they are not readers, they have readers in their team who is advising them, who is reading and advising them. Like I said in the other level, I said reading is a superpower. Like I don't know how like I can't overemphasize on this anyway. Let's move forward. Now, I think we're doing really good with time today. The Yes, and so to talk about time again, in one of the live streams, I think admin has already put it there. Yes, time management. Okay, so admin please put the time management one, the one that says creating time, and I formed a breakdown of time. Don't worry, this is not in chat GPT. This one is fresh from above, and I said T. That's the trick to manage your time for reading, for better purposeful living. T, I said track your energy cycle. That's what we talked about in that session. I'm just going to touch on it briefly because this topic of time, I hear it every day in the week. Parents come to my DM, say, Vera, how do you do this thing? Please, I want to ask you something. Okay, let's talk. What is it? It's how do you manage your day? Time. I'm like, oh my God, this is a burning topic. Track your energy cycle, which means there's a time of the day when you're more effective, your brain is more efficient, and there is a time of the day when you're slowing down. Identify those two times and structure your day accordingly. Start your day when your energy cycle is at the peak. Start with the brain demanding thing and activities. Early morning, that's when I do my reading, my writing, the books I'm writing. That's when I do them, plan my day, do my morning devotion. That's early in the morning because I know that once it gets to 11, 12, my energy begins to drop. And it's normal. Every human being has a four energy peak cycle. We have the peak, you have the midday, then you have the slow down and all of that, right? It's in that in that live stream, the one she put just now. Okay. And then I said, the I in time is identify your priorities and your time wasters. Yes, identify your priorities and your time wasters. Priorities means what you prioritize in your list. The other live stream, we said you don't prioritize your schedule, you schedule your priorities. If you understand that reading is the magic to your a successful life, then it will be in the front burner. It will not be an afterthought like when I finish suffering. After suffering, that's when you now come and start reading. Whereas it's the reading that will take away the suffering. I don't know if we all get it right now. Okay. If you're still here with me, please put the comments in the comment section. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself. I know that the participation count is sometimes not correct. Sometimes I see that there are more people and then there's nobody and all of that. I know that it fluctuates. So I want to know that people are here with me, right? And then your priorities, you identify them. And then most importantly, your time wasters. We talked about so many time wasters in that session. I'm not going to do all of that today. I just encourage every one of us to go back to that playlist and listen to it. Time is the currency of destiny. Time is an equalizer. The same 24 hours you have is the same 24 hours that Davido has, and he makes how many songs a year? Messi Chinwo, all of them. I don't know the most recent ones. It's only Davido I know. And then Christian music, right? It is the same 24 hours. Oh, they don't have more time. The Dangote, the owners of industries, the Elon Musks, many of them is the same 24 hours. So what are they doing differently? They've understood the concept of time management, and time management is energy management. Energy management is life management. The M I talked about under the time is manage attention and focus. For this one, I'm going to talk about it in the next skill, right? And then E talks about embracing essentialism. Essentialism means understanding that everything cannot be important at the same time. Understand your season of life, understand where you are in your journey, and understand what you can take and what you cannot take on. Right? I always tell my friend as an example, and I said back home in Nigeria, I used to work from home, yeah, and then my kids, and then I used to be in the choir, in the church choir and all of that. I could do many more things, back in Nigeria. But when I got here, I had to assess the situation and I said, okay, I need to drop some things for now. Understanding the season of life where I am. I have little children that need my presence. I need to nurture them. And then I looked at my schedule and I decided to drop off some things. Drop off, drop off, drop off. It doesn't matter who doesn't like it. It does not matter who doesn't like it. What matters is that I'm in a place where I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not pleasing anybody and displeasing myself and my family. I put my family first, my relationship with God first, my job first, my business. So all of those ones, right? So if you call me for a party and I'm not able to attend, I cannot be pressured to be where I don't. Anywhere you see me appear, I myself, Vera, I chose to go. Friends cannot even tell me, oh, let's go, let's go. If I'm not gonna go, I'm not able to go, I'm not going to go. Like there's nobody, nothing can what they call it, this shame, there's a blame shame or something, there's a name they call it. Nobody can do that to me, and nobody should do that to you. You don't have to be at an event that you don't need to be at. Sometimes it's whether you go or not, they don't even know. They don't even notice whether you came or not. It's better that you send a token to them and encourage them, and you take your time and do what is more meaningful than being everywhere. That is what the concept of essentialism tells us. It tells us that you cannot be everywhere, you cannot do everything, you cannot take on everything. So good time managers are able to go to the drawing board and say, what is essential per time? That's where the name of the book came from. Essentialism. There's a book called Essentialism. I don't know if it's here. Essentialism, right? It just tells you that you can't be everywhere at the same time. So, what is important per time? What? Every morning I do that. I have a very busy schedule. You guys don't even want to know. But at every point, I'm telling myself, okay, Vera, you cannot break yourself apart. What can you handle today? In fact, there's a book I read again, Finish What You Start. In that book, it says many of us don't move forward as we want to because we overload our days. Remember, we said schedule your priorities. So, in the process of scheduling your priorities, you have a long list, and every day you don't finish that long list, you feel guilty. And what that does to the brain is not motivated to do the next one the next day because we already established that the brain thrives on reward, satisfaction. If you're able to accomplish one task, your brain, okay, you're like, okay, we did this yesterday, we can do it again tomorrow. But if repeatedly you're not able to meet up, then you're not motivated to go ahead. So that book, Finish What You Start, it says that no matter how busy you can do, I mean, that's their concepts. I don't do it exactly like that. In your day, identify 3 tasks, maximum of 3 tasks that you want to achieve every day. That 3 is a very small number. Manageable. Why? Because he wants you to be able to achieve it and let your brain be satisfied that you have done it. That's what gives you the head start for another day. Right? But I know sometimes it's not feasible to just do 3 tasks. But the message I'm saying here is don't pack everything together. My sisters and my brothers that will catch a replay and the ones that are here, if you close your eyes today and it does not open again, all the things you're chasing will continue. Trust me, they will continue like nothing has happened. Essentialism. Essentialism. I used to work in the company where I used to work in Nigeria recently. Unfortunately, one of my close friends, she passed away, and I think that she had a blood pressure issue, and she passed, she slumped and she died. And looking back, I remember the lady. She was a workaholic. She used to work like tomorrow no day. I'm like, in fact, the moment when she passed away, even before she was buried, she was recently buried. Somebody has taken over the role. Like somebody has taken over quickly, 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 no time to waste. And the company is still posting profits. So I always tell myself, everything can wait. I don't put myself under pressure. Sometimes you like pass by, oh, things are not well arranged in the house. I know, no problem, Vera. I know. You're not a dirty woman, you know. Just give yourself some time. And I walk away, I close my eyes and move. Because at that time is not the time to fix the room. I need to do other things, and then I will schedule the fixing of the room. I work with schedules. Everything is scheduled. You don't just bump into my day and say, oh, let's go, except I just decided to, right? So that is the concept of time management. That is a very important skill that can free up time for us to become better readers. Now, the fourth skill I'd like to talk about today is attention and focus. Remember, we mentioned it under time management also. Now, to break it down, attention is the ability to concentrate on what's in front of you per time. Very important. Concentrate means if you're 100% a being, that 100% should be on what you're doing. So as I'm talking to you on this live show, I'm not thinking of stew or Sunday claw or no. All I'm doing is having this live stream and saying the things I want to discuss on this call. So that's 100% focus and attention. And that thing is one thing that is slowly declining in our society now. Number one culprit is technology. That is why many people have lost attention. There's something called screen autism. screen ADHD. People are not able to focus anymore because as they're talking, one mind is in the WhatsApp, another mind is on Instagram, another mind is on Roblox, and all of that. For you to be an unstoppable reader, you need attention. What will attention do to you? It will help you read faster. It will help you understand faster. It will help you to avoid rereading. Because when you're reading and then you have your phone right beside you, you read one line, a boss comes in, you check. After checking, wait, by the time you're going back, you're starting again. Either you start again or you go ahead reading without understanding. So the number one, the one enemy of unstoppable readers is technology. For me, as a rule, when I want to read, my phone stays miles away. Prime my environment so that I don't even stay close to it because as a business person, many times I have messages on my WhatsApp business. I need to respond to clients and all of that. So I understand that anytime I touch the phone, before I drop it, it's nothing like that 20 minutes has passed. So I just try to avoid it completely. Now, moving on to focus. Focus is the ability to stay with it. That thing that you're doing part time, stay with it without drifting off or giving up. Attention and focus save you time. Yes, they do. It supports comprehension, reduces rereading and frustration, and builds reading stamina. Now, reading stamina is the ability to read for longer hours. I was telling my friend that this from the half part of this year, I wanted to increase my reading stamina. As for the frequency, I've locked that in. There's no day that passes without me reading and without us reading in the house, even my children. Yes, but I wanted to make it a bit longer. And I was telling my friends, like, I want to be doing 1 hour out of my 24 hours, give 1 hour to reading. And the moment I achieve that, you people will not see me in this YouTube stream again. Oh, I will blow. Before you see me, you will come and pay me money. I'm just teasing that on a lighter note. But what I'm saying in essence is attention and focus, they help you to build your reading stamina. In as much as we advise that, okay, start your reading small, do your 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but we don't want it to stay small. You have to increase it. Just the way I'm trying to increase mine. Very soon I'll be doing 5 hours out of my 24 hours reading. That's the time when like money will just be flowing from everywhere. I don't have to work for anybody again, right? So attention and focus are very important skills you need to teach yourself and your children to be successful, unstoppable readers. The next one, the next skill I would like to talk about today. Please let me know if you're on the stream, you're enjoying the class conversation so far. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Say something. I don't see people putting comments. The next one I'd like to talk about is consistency. Consistency simply means doing something repeatedly at a predetermined time, reliably, over time, even when it's hard, boring, or inconvenient. Again, it comes up to say inconvenient, you don't feel like it. So I want us to know from today that it has nothing to do with how you're feeling. As long as you're not dying, you need to get that thing done. There's no excuse. In reading, consistency means reading every day, not just when it's exciting or easy. And that is the goal and the focus of the Readers Corner. We are raising a community of consistent readers, people who don't start their day without a book. Because the more you read a book, the more you feed your brain. So that means if you have not been reading, then your brain is starving, then your brain is stunted, right? No offenses meant, but that is the truth. Just as example of a child who is not eating, doesn't eat for 1 week, doesn't eat for 2 weeks, drinks water. Can you compare that to somebody who eats 3 balanced meals a day? You can't. Even in stamina, in look, in freshness, there's no comparison. That's the same thing we're doing to our brains when we don't read every day. And when we just feel like we listen to news now, we went to social media now, so that's like drinking water. Your brain is living on water, no nutrients, right? And then I wrote in my notes and I said, consistency is the foundation of building a reading habit. Consistency is repetition. Consistency is the bridge between a goal and a habit. Now let's talk about this habit formation thingy and concentration and consistency. Sorry. The way habits are formed, right, is by repeatability, is by frequency, not duration. So what you do every time, every time, every time, every time, look at what happens. The brain is actually transformed based on that process, but we don't know it. So what when we say something is a habit, it means that this thing has become automatic. You do it without thinking. Example, very bad example. We've gone to bed, we've slept for 7 hours, the alarm wakes us up, or whoever wakes us up, and you wake up. What's the first thing we do when we wake up? Many of us carry your phone. That's the first thing. Without even thinking it, no thinking required. You pick up your phone, check the time, check your messages, check TikTok, and all of that. Many of us, we know is the wrong thing to do. We want to do better, but we can't because you've done it repeatedly. The brain has locked it up. That is what a habit is. A habit is something you do repeatedly without thinking. So the brain has normalized it. And the thing with consistency is the more you do something, the easier it becomes. Picking up your phone is the easiest. It doesn't even, in fact, before you remember that you should pray, you have already read through WhatsApp already. That's the funniest thing about life. Now, your reading habits can replace that phone. For real, yes. My reading has replaced my phone. Yes. How does that happen? Consistency. You do it on Monday, you do it on Tuesday, you do it on Wednesday. When you start doing it, it's hard. It's a bit difficult. You struggle to it. But remember, repeat frequency guarantees ease. So the more you do it over and over again, at some point your brain locks it, and so nobody can talk you out of it. And that is where the Reader's Corner is driving families to get to that point where it's like, sorry, I missed your message. I was just engrossed in the book I was reading. Oh, there's something on TikTok. Oh, I'll check it later in the day. Because that's actually where those things belong to, later in the day. They don't belong to your energy. The brain you're supposed to be using to make billions, you use it to check WhatsApp first thing in the morning. Repetition creates a routine which shifts a task from a decision to an automatic event. That's what I've been saying all day. The more often we show up, the easier it becomes. Consistency rewires the brain. I'm sure many of us have heard about the neuroplasticity of the brain, which is that the more you do something, the more the neural pathways fire together and then recognize that this is a pattern. So every time you wake up, open your eye, your brain, you don't need to even tell your brain to pick up a book. Your brain just knows that the next thing is book time or prayer time or exercise time because you've done it repeatedly. Consistency strengthens identity. Yes, it makes you see yourself as a kind of person who reads every day. In the last session, we talked about identity mismatch, and we said many of us are not able to read every day because we've not even seen ourselves as readers, right? But consistency, when you do it something, at some point you tell yourself that, man, I've passed this level now. I cannot be dragging to read or not to read. What I should be saying is that how long more can I read? And consistency leads to real results because small repeated actions lead to lasting change. That is in the book Atomic Habits. This Atomic Habits, it's a game changer for anybody who wants to lock in any habit at all, including reading. It tells us the principle, the way, the chemistry behind it, how it happens, the hormones that are secreted when you do something repeatedly. It was this one, I think it's a 5 a.m. club, where the guy, Robin Sharma, 5 a.m. club, he says, part-time efforts delivers part-time results, but consistent efforts delivers consistent results. I don't know which area of your life this relates to, whatever you're doing, and you're doing it when you feel like there's no structure, there's no discipline around it. The results you will get is the same, is commensurate to the efforts you put in. But you see that thing that you do in and out, just in the way I'm showing up on this my YouTube and shouting every day, my result is getting bigger. It's just the law of nature, right? So that brings me to our sixth skill. Please, can somebody in the live stream chat towards the first five? Let me see if we're following first five, or anyone that you can remember. Admin, you can help us to put the numbers in: number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. And now I have 12 minutes to finish up. I don't want to exceed the hour. The sixth one is curiosity, the quest for knowledge. The growth mindset is a skill that you need to become an unstoppable reader. You know, gone are those days when they said curiosity kills the cat. It's a lie. Ignorance is what kills the cat. It's not curiosity. Please don't ever say that to your child. If you ever say curiosity kills the cat, you ask too many questions, you want to know too much, you talk too much. No. Curiosity does not kill the cat. Ignorance kills the cat. What is curiosity? The strong desire to know, learn, and understand something. It's a strong desire. Strong desire. Curiosity is the engine of learning. So nobody learns anything without having that passion. Like, I want to know what is inside this thing. You buy a box of gifts and somebody wants to, your child wants to open it. I want to know. I want to. That is curiosity. It does not kill the cats anymore. We have moved from that school of thought. Curiosity does not kill any cats. It's ignorance that kills the cats. Curiosity is what drives exploration, leads to questions, ignites motivation, and speeds up lifelong learning. Now, let me shock you with an amazing revelation I found recently during my Bible study in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 3. Do I have my Bible here? Proverbs chapter 2, verse 3. It says something, and it says, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 3, it said, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Let me break it down. The knowledge that transforms you is the one that you were hungry for. Is the knowledge that you were hungry for, that you sought after. It's not the one that you got passively. The one that they just say, okay, is that okay? No. That one does not do anything. The knowledge that transforms your life, your family, your finance, your business is the one that you yearned for. The Bible says, if thou cry. How many of us have cried for knowledge before? You can't be crying for knowledge and we're still preaching that you should read every day now. It's because I'm hungry for knowledge. That's why reading is at the top of my list. And that's what the Bible commands us. That's when we understand the fear of God. And the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So any knowledge that you do not put in effort, you do not drive yourself, you do not hunger for, you do not, he said, if thou will search for it as hidden treasure. Do you know what hidden treasure is? Hidden. You have to search, adventure, search, look for. That is what daily reading is doing. So for me, I take a book and I'm reading, like, I want to know what this person is talking about. Okay, my finances are in trouble. I want to make money. I pick up a book, Think and Grow Rich. I have many of them. I want to know, what are people doing differently? My marriage is not okay. Okay, I want to fix. I pick up a book, 4 Seasons of Marriage. There must be something here that will change that story that is bothering me. So the knowledge that is rewarding is the one that is earnestly sought after, not passively received. Please, let's take note of that. It is the one that is hungrily sought after. And then we said, curiosity does not kill the cats. Ignorance is what kills the cats. Another reason why we need to hunger for this knowledge is in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11. And it says, discretion shall preserve thee. Understanding shall keep thee, to deliver you from the way of the evil man. So when you tell a child curiosity kills the cat, contradicting what the Bible says, because the Bible says is knowledge, discretion, understanding that will preserve your children, that will keep them from danger, that will keep them from harm. It is how much they know. How would they know when they ask question, you shut them down? They ask question, you say you ask too much. Curiosity, curiosity. Even yourself, you don't even ask question again. There's no zeal, no nothing. Just get by every day, minimum requirements. So I want us to leave this live stream today. Remember that curiosity is a skill you need. Quest for knowledge, hunger, be hungry. As I am hungry. What I'm even looking for, I need more time. Like, I need to read all of these books here, right? And in fact, I'm like, there are just too many. I don't know how to share myself. Like, there are many books I want to read. Like, I want to really, really read many more books, right? Now, finally, the last skill that we need to be unstoppable: comprehension. We all know what that means: the ability to understand, process, and make meaning from what you read. It's not just about reading words, it's about allowing the words to pass through you and transform you. Comprehension makes reading enjoyable, useful, not just an exercise in decoding. Comprehension helps readers connect ideas. It leads to deeper thinking and learning. Now, let me say something at this point, that the main reason why we read is two things: is to transform, to get transformed, and to create. And the reading that transforms is the reading that you understand. The reading that you can create from is the reading that you understand, not the reading that you ticked the box. Many people do this. They're always shouting, read. Oh, yeah, now let me just read. I've read 10 pages. Like my daughter, sometimes she will just rush through. She says she has done her reading streak for the day. And I'll tell her, come, what did you understand? Don't tell me the way it was written. Explain. And many times she's able to explain. She said, Mommy, the writer was saying that, and I'm like, okay, you're just a fast reader, Sha. It's not that you're rushing through. So comprehension, lack of comprehension can make reading frustrating. Because if you read it, see, there's no way you read a book and one part of your life is not transformed. Then that's not proper reading. There's a problem with that reading. The reading that is correct reading is the reading that once you close that book, you reflect and take up something. That's what I do. There's no book I close without picking one part of my life to improve on and to write something from it. All of this can happen only when we understand what we read. We read to internalize and live what we have read. Yes. I like there's a story in the Bible that I like to talk about whenever I have to talk about comprehension. And it's the story of the man who beholds himself in the mirror. And just when he turns off, he forgets what he saw in the mirror. That's because he did not even internalize. He didn't understand who he was. Because if you look and grasp and internalize, then you can forget easily. So the reason why we say, I forgot, we forgot, is because that part of our brain that helps us to understand and retain is not activated. And the only thing that makes it activated is when we read consistently in season and out of season. Comprehension is what turns reading into thinking and creation. That's my closing words for today. Comprehension is what turns reading into thinking, creation, and transformation. So as we read on every day, let us ensure that we have these 7 skills. There are many more. I just had to compress them into 7 for want of time. The first one is emotional intelligence. The second one is self-discipline. The third one is attention and focus. The fourth one is time management. Fifth one is consistency. Did I miss one? Fifth one is consistency. Sixth is curiosity. And the last one is comprehension. All of this in no particular order. When we work on ourselves to develop these skills, then reading becomes enjoyable. It becomes the very normal part of our day. I remember the story I started with when one of my coaches, she says, if you can eat every day, then you should read every day. I struggled with that statement so many years ago. I said, what is it? I beg. How can you say compare reading and eating? I did the same thing. But yes, they are the same. Reading is even more important than eating. And so today, I live a step higher than eating and reading. I now read before the eating. Yes, before the eating.
the reading. So before my body is fed, my brain is already fed, nourished, satisfied, and ready to drive my day. So thank you very much. I did very good with time today. Yay! Some people give me some flowers, give me some fire emojis. I really did good today. I'm proud of myself. Okay, so this is me saying thank you so much for joining us again today. For giving me your Sunday evening. I really do appreciate it. If you're catching a replay, if you're here already, please do well to share your comments. Tell us how you found the session. Share the link with your friends who are struggling to get reading. Summer is here, and we're looking for activities to get our children involved, get ourselves involved. It's such a very long summer break. So, and because of that, the Readers Corner is coming up with something special for children, for to help parents and their children this summer. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too quickly, but please stay close to us. You'll be the first to know when we launch the new products that we are creating for you, because this summer will not just end in play and fun. We're going to infuse learning into it, and we will still have a lot of fun, and we'll all be all right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to sign out before it is after 1 hour. I remain Vera Patrick Azodo, and I love you all. I say thank you for being here with me. Have a blessed week. Bye.